So secure by design has its root in software development. And on a very basic level, it means that even from the early steps where you start designing a software, security is part of the process, as opposed to being an afterthought, which is the traditional way. And while it has its root in software design, the same principles can be applied to basically each company, because there's part of a design everywhere. So there's a network design, there's an application flow design, et cetera, et cetera. And the same principles, like make sure that security is right there from the start, can apply to everything in IT. So yes, the roots were limited, but the application cases can be very, very various and applied to each organization on the globe. DevSecOps, I would say, is more like an ongoing security principle. So you always fine-tune things, while secure by design is basically from the start. But yes, I think there's like a seamless way where the two methodologies run into each other. There's definitely some neighborhood and some overlap, I guess, yeah. Obviously, when you start with something, you need to rely on experience that you made in the past. So for an organization, it is probably a good idea to get people with enough expertise in security topics from the beginning, where you start designing a network, et cetera, et cetera. So quite often when those elements happen, like let's keep the example of designing a network, security analysts try to stay out of that, because they are like, this is not my my favorite topic, not my area of expertise. But I think this is wrong, because even in these early stages, if you're an expert in security and have the right mindset, you can influence the design of the network. And you, as a security analyst, learn a lot out of this process, but you also give a lot to the organization, because it will be secure with the input of this. So you need some experience, and then you need to make sure that you create like baselines. So if we again talk about the network, you need to have a good understanding of what is considered as normal when applications talk to each other, for example. So it's easier to spot anomalies. So you will be able to understand if there's something that is not normal, right? And that might be a performance problem, but it might be a security issue. So it's very, very important to become secure by design right from the start when designing a network. Assume breach is basically an evolution of zero trust. So in zero trust, we would be like, hello, I don't trust you. In assume breach, we are like, hello, you are an evil dude. So it's no longer that we just think that anything is suspicious. We actually think that we already have been attacked. The major advantage here is, with all those nice security policies that we came up with in the past couple of years, they are reactive. And if something happens, we have to put action in it. And unfortunately, in most organizations, those actions aren't really tested, aren't tried, whatever. In a concept of assume breach, we use each simple opportunity to test our policies and fine-tune them all the time. That could be DevSecOps, as you mentioned earlier. So let's take a very simple example. When an employee forgets the password in the morning and they try to access a resource, wrong password, wrong password, wrong password, somewhere a light will turn on, right? It could be like an attempt later on. Now, if a wrong password has been entered 3 times in a minute or whatever, let's be real, that's not really a security situation. It's just an employee like you and me forgetting the password. But what we do now, or what assume breach should do, is take this opportunity and pretend that is something serious, to test the policy. So what could we possibly do? An action would be to disable this account. Now, we're not going to do this with a normal employee, but all the way to the step before we execute it, we test the policies. We see if it works, we see if our tools work, if our automation work, and when we find an area for improvement, we improve it. So assume breach is helping you to prepare for the worst. And in case the worst happens, you are prepared.